In 1859, a 19-year-old man entered the business districts of Cleveland, Ohio. He had very little money. He had no established name in the industry. He was entering the world of commission merchanting, a high-volume and low-margin business. Most young men in his position tried to win clients by offering the lowest prices. They competed on pennies. John D. Rockefeller did not. He understood that in a volatile market, price was a secondary concern. The primary concern was reliability. He did not sell grain. He sold the certainty that the grain would arrive and the payment would be exact. To understand the system Rockefeller used, one must first understand the role of a commission merchant. A commission merchant acted as a middleman. He bought commodities, such as grain or produce, from farmers and sold them to wholesalers. The merchant did not usually own the goods for long. He earned a small percentage, a commission, for facilitating the trade. It was a business of thin margins and high risks. If a shipment was spoiled or a buyer defaulted, the merchant could lose everything. Most merchants operated on handshakes and approximations. They were often imprecise. This created a market defined by instability. Rockefeller entered this environment and established a firm called Clark and Rockefeller. He did not have the capital to compete with the established houses. He borrowed the money he needed to start. But he possessed a tool that his competitors ignored. He possessed an obsession with documentation. Since his early teens, Rockefeller had kept a meticulous ledger. He recorded every single penny that entered or left his possession. He applied this same discipline to his first business. The system was simple. Rockefeller focused on the gap between what was promised and what was delivered. In the 19th century, reliability was not a given. Farmers often felt cheated by middlemen. Wholesalers often received shipments that did not match the description. Rockefeller decided to make reliability his primary product. He did not negotiate based on the price of the grain. He negotiated based on the integrity of the transaction. When he made a promise to a client, he documented it in writing. He tracked the movement of every bushel. He ensured that the quality of the product matched the agreement exactly. If he promised a specific delivery date, he met it. If he promised a specific grade of grain, he provided it. This approach changed the nature of the negotiation. When a client worked with Rockefeller, they were not just buying a commodity. They were buying the removal of risk. In a market where fraud and error were common, the removal of risk had immense value. Rockefeller realized that trust was not a vague feeling. Trust was a system of consistent, documented results. By standardizing his interactions and recording every detail, he created a level of consistency that his competitors could not match. He was not the cheapest option. He was the safest option. This strategy required a relentless level of persistence. As a teenager, Rockefeller had to convince established businessmen to trust him with their contracts. He did not use charm. He used evidence. He showed his records. He demonstrated his process. He proved that his system reduced the chance of error. He turned his lack of experience into an advantage by being more disciplined than the veterans. He did not guess. He did not estimate. He verified. The conflict arose from the inherent instability of the commodity market. Grain prices fluctuated wildly. The risk of borrowing capital to fund these trades was significant. One bad harvest or one market crash could have wiped out Clark and Rockefeller. Furthermore, the established merchants in Cleveland did not welcome a disciplined newcomer who was exposing their lack of precision. Rockefeller faced the challenge of scaling a business based on personal reputation. Reputation is difficult to scale because it usually depends on the individual. However, Rockefeller did not rely on his personality. He relied on his system of documentation. He turned his personal habits into a business process. He treated every contract as a legal obligation. He refused to deviate from the agreed terms, even when it seemed beneficial to do so in the short term. This rigidity became his greatest strength. While other merchants shifted their terms based on the market, Rockefeller remained constant. The outcome of this approach was a rapid accumulation of trust and capital. By the time he left the commission business, he had built a reputation for absolute reliability. This reputation became his most valuable asset. It gave him the leverage he needed to enter the oil industry. When Rockefeller pivoted to oil, he did not leave the commission merchant play behind. He simply applied the same system to a larger scale. He noticed that the early oil industry was chaotic. Refineries were inefficient. Shipping was unreliable. Quality was inconsistent. He saw the same gaps in the oil market that he had seen in the grain market. He applied the same discipline of documentation and reliability to the refining process. This pattern of behavior led to the creation of Standard Oil. The company did not become a monopoly through luck. It became a monopoly by applying a level of operational precision that destroyed the competition. Rockefeller tracked the cost of every barrel of oil. He tracked the cost of every piece of twine used to tie a barrel. He applied the same rigor to his global empire that he had applied to his first grain contracts at 19. The reliability he sold as a commission merchant became the operational efficiency of the largest company in the world. The lesson from the commission merchant play is that reliability is the rarest currency in any market. Most people attempt to win by being the cheapest or the fastest. This leads to a race to the bottom. When you compete on price, you are replaceable. When you compete on reliability, you become essential. The system Rockefeller used can be translated to any modern business. Whether selling software or providing a service, the goal is the same. The objective is to move the negotiation away from price and toward the value of a reliable partnership. This is achieved by building a system of trust. A system of trust is not built on promises. It is built on the documentation of promises kept. It requires an obsession with the details of the client experience. It means documenting every agreement. It means delivering exactly what was promised every single time. It means removing the risk for the client. In a world of approximations, precision is a competitive edge. Rockefeller did not start with a monopoly. He started with a ledger. He did not start with a fortune. He started with a reputation for being the most reliable man in the room. He proved that the most effective way to win a market is to be the only one who does exactly what they say they will do. Subscribe to Legacy Library for more decoded wealth systems.